promoting community health. Though Dr. Satyanarayana has almost stopped writing research papers after his startup some years back, but still his Scopus index documents counted as 40 with an impressive H index of 20, indicating his profound outreach impact of his research work. Dr. Satyanarayana's work exemplifies a commitment to employing scientific expertise to drive social change, particularly in supporting vulnerable population and fostering sustainable development. In this connection, I cordially welcome such great personality, Dr. Satyanarayana Kuchubatla, to share his invaluable expertise and innovative insights with us. Thank you, sir, and thank you, Dr. Srihari Garu and team, to give me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the kind introduction. May I request the organizers to start my slides, please?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Santosh.
Please share your screen.
Yes. Give me a moment.
Meanwhile, a very good evening, everybody. Thank you for taking your time beyond the regular working hours and joining with a lot of enthusiasm for this session. Not being faculty today and interacting with a large community of faculty and researchers gives me a lot of pleasure. Sir, please start with the slide 1.
Is that okay, sir?
It is
Your
still
screen.
not shared. Yeah.
Okay.
So while the organizers set the screen up, something very specific I wanted to check with you all. Am I clear and audible to you all? Is the voice clear and audible?
Yes, your voice is audible. Yes.
Very good. Okay. Excellent. Although this slide is meant to be interactive, couple of slides at least in the beginning, I would like to seek from you, I don't know if there is a poll enabled, even if not, you can think for yourself. How many of you know this particular picture? I'll give you a pause. I am hoping, given it's a mechanical engineering community, most of you should be knowing about it. If you do not know, I'll request you to please go and find out what this is all about.
Participants can put a thumbs up or yes in the chat.
Yeah. I've kept my chat window open. How many of you know what this particular thing is? Somebody says the railway bridge. It's a China bridge, right? So yeah, so I mean, this is something that we should pride as Indians and whatever has happened in terms of engineering structures in this country. Next slide, please. Almost everyone knows this slide, this picture, right? Anybody who does not know this picture?
We have seen many times, sir, this one.
We have seen many times, right? So these two gentlemen are called Rocket Boys.
Yes, sir.
And who they are, what they have done, I think it is something that I'll let you figure out and then talk to your students. This is something that you probably have seen headings in news channels, from bicycle to bullock carts to Chandrayaan type of headings that you might have seen. Next slide, please. And this everybody will imagine, right? Country may change, the pictures might slightly be different, but the impact of the geopolitical scenarios, how devastation takes place, again, with the help of technology. If you could imagine the very slide one, where we are trying to connect regions which are unimaginable for reach through a train route. Until recently, we are trying to connect two geographically close regions from a terrain which is otherwise unreachable in winters and other timeline. Following up with a situation where, despite having so many challenges, even to transport a rocket head, people were using, they did not have any hesitation in using something as simple as a two-wheeler, a cycle, a non-motorized vehicle to transport a rocket head. They did not give an excuse. I did not have a helicopter to move a rocket head to fly this rocket. And then I think they even transported stuff on a bullock cart. And the third slide that you see is the same human intelligence, the same human developed technologies are being used for a significant level of devastation and inflicting pain purely through human intervention. It is not, none of these pictures are of a natural disaster. But many people today believe even the natural disasters are a result of human misbehavior. That's a moot point. We need not get into it right now. So keep these three things in mind as faculty and upcoming researchers, and all of us, those who are already in the research and teaching. This is something very, very critical for us to keep in mind whenever we are doing the work that we are doing on a daily basis. Next slide, please. I'm Dr. Satyanarayana Kuchibatla. Thank you for the opportunity to Professor Srihari and his colleagues at ADITYA for putting such a fantastic FDP. I've done a couple of these things in the past where I've had the opportunity to go meet the candidates in person, but I should congratulate Professor Srihari and the team at ADITYA. They have scheduled it in such a way that it is online. They're able to bring, I see in the program, many international speakers and speakers from industry, getting a huge mix of opinions for you to formulate your research. And what I will be doing during the course of the next 1 hour or so is, or even less than that possibly, is to shed light on how my team has taken the aspect of utilizing innovation to positively impact lives and livelihood. You may find a little bit of a discrepancy in the title where it is talked about smart materials. I'm talking about materials which are used smartly, not necessarily the materials that fall under the category of the so-called smart materials. I hope that is forgiven by the organizers. And once again, thank you all and the funders, AICTE, ATAL, who have funded this program and facilitated all our interaction. Thanks to everybody. Before I get into the core of the presentation. Next slide, please. See, what I have, when I was attending a conference, I think sometime in 2013, which is very late into my career, 12 years ago from now, but then still late into my career. I have heard my professor at IIT Bombay, Professor Ram Mohan, his teacher was talking when he got a Lifetime Achievement Award. Excuse me. Something that caught my attention during his presentation is that he asked a question to a room full of around 150, 200 people, many of them scientists from industry, scholars, professors of great repute in this country and abroad. He asked, what is the purpose of teaching? And different people had different answers. But what caught my attention is when this professor said, the purpose of teaching should be to stimulate learning. The purpose of teaching is not to teach, but those who are being taught, the interest in learning should be stimulated in their minds. And that something is very, very, close to my heart. So what I'll be trying to do in the rest of the slide is also to see and make a small effort to see if what our journey at Parishodhana Technologies will stimulate learning beyond what you have been doing in your respective careers or research professions that you are in. And another unique thing that I have learned from a professor, his name is Professor Krishna Rajan. He is still in US. A fantastic guy who uses computational modeling and fundamentals of ceramics and does a lot of research. Once I had the opportunity to invite him for a talk. And what he told me in that talk, I think I was surprised, and you will also, being predominantly academic community in this talk, his advice may or may not be taken very positively from this crowd. What he told in that talk is, the first thing he tells is not to trust the textbooks. I'm repeating the statement, do not trust the textbook. But we are all teaching, right? I mean, what is the point of not trusting the textbooks? Then he draws our attention to a point that if people believed textbooks and allowed it to happen, the fact that ceramics are non-conducting, generally we study, right? Metals are conductors, ceramics are insulators, non-conductors. It is because somebody did not believe in the textbook. There is a concept called superconducting ceramics. So the ability to question the established facts are extremely critical for anybody in research or development or solving the problems to make a significant progress or a contribution which will leave an indelible mark on the society. One must question the status quo, is what he said. So these two are something very close to my heart, and that's what I will try to do in the next few slides, if I may. Next slide, please. And this everybody knows, right? It is corrosion, and corrosion is the most widely known problem to almost every one of us. The chemistry of corrosion is something which is explored very well, and I think there is hardly anything about corrosion that the scientific community or the engineering community does not understand. Considering the potential devastating effects of corrosion, across the globe, millions of dollars are spent, one in preventing, but one can hardly prevent. There are still cases where the corrosion does happen. To repair these structures which have undergone corrosion and replace them, millions of dollars have been spent and are being spent and will be spent as well. Now, corrosion is a big problem, right? So for the engineering community, I do not know. I do not know for a well-engineered structure if there is any problem which is more critical than corrosion. Next slide, please. Similarly, there is a great challenge that one comes across if you take India as a specific situation. Many of you know that we have one of the highest peaks, which is in Siachen. It's a glacier peak, very critical for India's national security. We have a large deployment in this area. Temperatures in winter go down as low as -40 degrees centigrade. Wind chill could be -50 to -60 degrees centigrade. But then, because it is winter, these officers cannot ignore or let go of their post, because how well they protect that particular post will determine how safely you and I can sleep at home, or our kids can go to school, or our kids can play in a park, whatever we do. It is because of these soldiers. But then they face a great challenge of surviving in that extreme cold. Please take a second to imagine a situation, right? If the temperature has gone, I think right now, when wherever you are sitting, the winter temperatures are maybe 18, 19 degrees centigrade in the morning. It's very tricky for us, right? We feel very cold. But these people, they are talking about living in down to -40 degrees centigrade. Next slide, please. This is something many of you may or may not know. I'll be very happy if some of you at least know. Out of 1,000 newborn babies that are born in our country, out of every 1,000 newborn babies that are taking birth in this country, around approximately 25 to 27 of them do not see 28th day from the birth. Birth to 28 days is called neonatal period. And this neonatal period is very, very critical when these kids do not survive its mortality. So the neonatal mortality rate in this country are one of the highest. The average is 26. But there are states in this country where the average neonatal mortality is 40, 45. And these many babies do not survive 28 days. Out of these, 50% of them do not survive even one day. They'll pass away right after birth, within a few hours. Same 26 number out of 1,000, if you actually go to tribal areas in this country, out of 1,000 births, 100 to 150 babies do not survive. Please take a cognizance of this statistic that these many babies do not survive. Next slide, please. I do not know how many women faculty or attendants are here. If they are there, they would know it significantly well. And I'm fairly sure most of the men do not necessarily know that around 85% of the women who are menstruating suffer from cramps, which is very, very critical. They could be spouse, daughter, friend, mother. They all suffer. They all suffer significantly. There are multitudes of options, but many of them are not, almost all of them are not compatible for today's work environment, where these women have to be dynamic. They have to go run, get their job done, take care of the kids. When the man is out doing something, they are out doing equally important things in life, but they suffer. Unfortunately, many a times even the husband does not know, the father does not realize, the son does not know, but these women do go through a significant excruciating pain, and it's very, very painful. So if you see the situation, there are great challenges with the soldiers on top of the cold mountains. There are problems, very grave. Somebody had a question, they raised a hand. Should I pause?
No, sir. Just a second, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. You can please go ahead.
Okay.
I think that was by mistake.
Okay. Yeah. So, and if the organizers allow, I have plenty of time. We should be able to take questions and comments later on as well. I may not take the full time. Yes, please. Please post your questions in the chat box. I'll be very happy to go through those. So one of the things that we'll have to consider is, generally, when we talk about problems, we talk about employment, we talk about maybe cost of the goods, or if you go a little more financial, they talk about consumer price index, wholesale price index, maybe Sensex. These are the kinds of things that we talk about, and sometimes national security. And now one particular country's president is also a topic of discussion that we all talk about. But then there are other challenges that the engineering community or the scientists have hardly paid attention to, because I don't know why. So considering all these three problems, a group of people I was fortunate to engage and work with have addressed something very significant in these specific areas. May I seek the next slide, please? So the result of that effort is, creation of this company, Parishodhana Technologies. As you would see, we have, as many of you are able to see, we have three different technologies that we have developed on. One is instant non-electric heating and on-demand cooling. And we have also, during the COVID time, developed a high-performance multi-layer filtration system. Our focus, as we have seen, is primarily providing on-demand heating and cooling to various applications. In case of soldiers and the newborn babies, it's a life-saving warmth for them. and many other applications are emerging as we go. These numbers are close to half a year or so old. The numbers have significantly increased, but they just give a reference. I should also draw your attention that we have been fortunate to get supported by organizations like Government of India's BIRAC. There is an organization called IKP Knowledge Park based out of Hyderabad. Any of the faculty who are interested in starting something up and then would like to seek help, IKP Knowledge Park is a fantastic organization. They support faculty commercializing their innovations. So you may want to take time to learn more about them. And there is an organization called Grand Challenges Canada. It's based out of Canada. They supported our innovation in newborn and menstrual health of adolescent girls. And WIN Foundation is another organization which supported our work. So I'll request you to take me to the next slide, please. The idea that we have started with and what we primarily wanted to do is moving away from the conventional thought process of research being research and fundamental, given the India's needs, given the problems in developing countries. We wanted to use science and technology to solve problems that are at hand that are not necessarily taken care majoritarily over the recent past. And while doing so, something that is very, very critical, we wanted to be a for-profit company. It is important for research, doesn't necessarily mean we do not monetize it. We should be able to create positive impact and simultaneously generate revenue as well. And once again, as faculty, you should also, if possible, focus on developing technologies that will create result in some companies and more GDP is added to this country. I'll be very happy to talk to you offline if there are some thoughts. And as we are doing it, we also have to make sure that we are protecting ourselves properly through patents and trademarks, whatever intellectual property requirements are there. We always wanted to focus on those. That is what we have done. And as necessary, we might license our technology or manufacture on our own. And our current focus over the last 6, 7, 8 years has been on health and wellness related applications in various fields. Next slide, please. I think this is some work that we have done, and I think we can move on to the next slide. So when I talked about two technologies, the primary technology that we'll focus today is on heating, so which is instant portable non-electric heating applications. Why it becomes very, very critical is the scenarios that I've already shared with you. People who are in, let's say, Siachen and other peaks, it is very difficult for them to access a heating source. I do not know how many of you realize cost of 1 liter of fuel that they get there is probably 10 times more what we get in the cities and towns of this country. So any source of energy is extremely expensive when you go there. So it is important to have active ways to support these forces who are there. And it also is required. There is a requirement, for example, the warmth that is required for a soldier in Siachen or officer in Siachen, and to a warmth that is required to protect a newborn baby or relieve pain of a woman. These are completely different scenarios under which one must be working. So we have been able to focus on each application's required temperature, duration, form factor. All those things have been taken care and various products have been developed. The team also had paid attention, as you could imagine, if it is a small baby, the temperature spikes. When I say sudden increase or a sudden decrease would be very, very dangerous. So we also have paid attention to that. And as you are scientists and engineers, you would imagine what works at in Hyderabad, where our factory is, may or may not work the same way when it is in Siachen, given the conditions of pressure and all those things in those altitudes. And also there is a requirement, right, that eventually we should not be significantly polluting the environment with the type of products that we are developing and commercializing. I think this may be a logical point for me to pause. If there are any questions on the heating technology, we can take maybe a 15-20 second break, seek questions and respond. Dr. Satyanarayana Reddy garu, please.
Good evening, sir. Yeah, actually, what probably you are referring to is the exothermic compounds. They also call it micropyretics and things like that. So when you try to mix both the materials, exothermic reaction takes place and instantaneously without electricity produce the heating. Is that your referring, sir?
Something of that sort. Yeah, it is definitely an exothermic reaction.
Okay.
That is what we've been using. The key part is to sustain. Generating heat is, yes, possible, but how do we sustain that heat as long as it is required in the given scenario? That is where our patent is. You're right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions, queries, comments?
Sir, I have a query. I mean, is it possible the reversing of this technology?
I am waiting for my Nobel Prize. So if some of us can really do that, that's like phenomenal. But as of now, it's a little tricky. But every user of ours asks for it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing, sir, you have shown the very good picture about the corrosion. So here, why not we also think like this? I'm not blaming anybody. That is, by using a wrong material for a wrong application, okay, so it will definitely get corroded. So maybe you will say that, okay, that time these are the only materials available, so those steels for you, they got corroded. So because of the learning that these are the wrong materials for wrong applications, so other materials which do not corrode as severely as steels have taken over the place.
True. So there are ways that one can prevent. That's what I'm saying. On the prevention, when I say people are spending millions of dollars, it is for developing those newer and innovative structural materials which do not corrode, definitely, and then coatings and so many other applications. Yeah. So should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So next slide, please. So this is our other technology. We may not have time to talk about. As we went on to the community and started demonstrating our heating products, people asked us, if we could develop. India is a tropical country, hot and humid. Can we develop a cooling product similar to our heating product? And we were, my team focused on, and then a solution technology is developed, which is again patented. Without any refrigeration, within a span of 10 to 15 seconds, we will be able to generate an ice pack for multitudes of applications. We will leave it there for now, but that is something also that we have done. In the interest of time, I am not getting into that technology in the course of this presentation. Maybe some other time, but I wanted to flash both heating and cooling solutions have been developed. Again, one thing very unique, and I would like you to take cognizance of, is that every smallest of the ingredient that we have been using in this product is 100% made in India. So all the sources, all the packaging material, everything that we have been using in this product are 100%. There is nothing that we import to make these products. Next slide, please. So to summarize, what we have done basically is using these two, cooling and heating technologies, we have been able to serve the needs of different age groups, different individuals with their challenges, and all these solutions, different products that we developed. Each of these products has a name which is trademark. One of the reasons I draw your attention, if you have any good idea, you should consider trademarking that. And today, India registering trademark is not expensive at all. I think within around 3,000 to 5,000 rupees, one must be able to register their ideas and trademark the names of the products that we would like to make in future also. You should be able to do that. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to highlight this, that each product that we develop, the name, the company name, everything is trademark registered for us in this country. Next slide, please. Now, from there, when I go, as Dr. Satyanarayana was earlier asking about, I have shown the problem of corrosion there. Why I have shown that corrosion is that, as every one of you would know, the corrosion that we have is oxidation reaction, is an exothermic reaction. So the same corrosion which has a problem, we as a society are spending millions of dollars. That same corrosion reaction we are able to control in such a way that many of our requirements of generating warmth for various applications is served. And if you can pay attention to the left side bottom region of the slide that you're seeing now, the product, the way you use it is, we will give a pouch with a way to open this one, a small cut on the top, like you open any of the other, poly pouches. And then you have a packet there, briefly shake that packet, and then the warmth is generated. The user can put it in their gloves, their shoes, their sleeping sleeping bags, or in their, the wind cheaters. They can keep themselves warm for anywhere from 6 to 10 hours based on the application scenario. The same exothermic reaction, Dr. Satyanarayana, which is a corrosive reaction, we are using that. The engineering controls that are created in this one will allow the reaction to happen over a longer duration while maintaining the required temperature for the application. That's the reason why I have shown what could be something where, as a problem, people are suffering. The same could be intelligently converted in a different application scenario for creating a positive impact in various scenarios. So that simple or a most complicated corrosion reaction, if I may call it, is controlled so that we can provide the warmth that is required. This is where I said materials which are already existing are being used intelligently to develop applications. Now, let me draw your attention. I or my team are not the first ones to do this innovation. Japanese are pioneers in this technology. They have been doing it for more than 100 years, if I know it correct. And what we have been able to do is develop something very unique. Certain engineering controls, the way that we have done, are unique, resulting in a patented technology, and that we are able to make in a way that our Indian strategic needs are met. Next slide, please. And 1 second. As you could clearly see here, in the middle below the technology description, I've very clearly written contents also here. They're a combination of iron, salt, water, activated carbon, and mineral insulators. On every pouch that we supply, these ingredients are written. And as on date, I think close to 3 million hours of warmth has been provided through these products to armed forces of India in the northern and eastern, high altitude regions. So this, the ability to control the temperature is what is engineering control in this particular innovation. And as you would imagine, that these products need different applications, as I told you, and also require different validations. So when we were doing this product, as I told you, it could work at my laboratory temperature of 25, 27 degrees centigrade. And then we had to test these products at different temperatures, now very low temperatures, right? We were very fortunate. On the right side, there are two gentlemen in blue and red coats. One on the left in the image is Mr. Tukaram. He is a Hyderabad-based mountaineer. We were very fortunate and grateful to him that he has taken our products to Everest base camp and tested this one. He has also used this product in Mount Elbrus and Aconcagua, various high altitude peaks. He used to carry these with him and then gave us the input that these products are working very well for them. And various battalions in Indian Army today use these products to keep themselves warm in the ultra cold, high altitude scenarios. Next slide, please. And continuing from there, the same heating technology, the same corrosion that generates warmth, we have used it to develop a product called NeoWarm. If you see that wrap in which the babies are kept, that wrap provides warmth to the low birth weight and newborn babies who are being transported from remote locations to. The pity of this particular application is the scenario is not the application, but the scenario is that these babies take birth in a remote area because they are low birth weight or because they have certain infection. These babies are transported to a tertiary care center is what the medical language calls them. The higher centers with a lot of equipment and neonatal specialties and everything. Unfortunately, because we do not have the infrastructure in terms of keeping the babies warm, because as you would all see, these makeshift Omni vans are ambulances whenever they are transporting babies from remote locations to the higher centers. So in these scenarios, these babies lose the temperature by the body temperature by the time they reach the medical care center. So even if the doctors have ways to support these babies, until their body temperature comes to normal temperature, they cannot be supported. So there are, we lose, as per some of the published literature, if 100 babies are transported, anywhere from 50 to 75 babies will become hypothermic by the time they reach the destination. And remember, this problem is not a winter problem. This problem is 365 days a year, because these small low birth weight babies do not have a mechanism of generating warmth to keep themselves in an normothermic condition primarily. So even if it is summer for the rest of the world, for the low birth weight babies, they will start feeling chills in their body, and then that can lead to infections, and eventually these babies may not survive. So what we have been able to do, use the same heating technology. We are able to provide 37 plus or minus 1 degree centigrade temperature when the baby is wrapped in this particular way. You are seeing the front side of the product. On the rear side of the product is where we have a heating element that we have developed. And these wraps that you're seeing, are designed and developed in such a way that up to almost 8 hours of duration, we are in a position to provide temperature to these babies to keep themselves warm. Now, from maintaining the temperature of the soldiers in Siachen to transporting these babies, both applications have completely different scenarios where somebody is holding a packet and keeping their gloves or shoes, from where we have to maintain a baby in a proper wrap and then somebody is carrying them. So many aspects have to be taken care of in order to utilize the same technology, but when the application changes, it's a different scenario. Next slide, please. And the other segment that we are talking about, I'm sure even with a lot of sitting and talking, faculty also have back pains. How do we take care of our back pains is traditionally take a painkiller or, go get a hot water, the balloon type of a thing, bags that we put. And all these have a number of different challenges. Same becomes very tricky when it is a woman and she has cramps during her menstruation and she has to go work. So we developed a product exclusively for women and adolescent girls primarily to provide them a warmth on demand so that they can wear it on their body. It's a small 25-30 gram patch that goes on their innerwear along with the sanitary pad that they use, and that can keep these women comfortable for up to 8 hours or so, which is a typical working duration, so that they can go attend classes in school or do their work that they have to do. Again, the most important aspect to consider, is that the same corrosion and oxidation reaction, we are able to control, do the engineering controls in the product and offer. Now, the sensitivity that happens is here, unlike the newborn baby scenario, where we were able to design a wrap, the entire baby is kept in that wrap, and you provide the temperature. In particular scenario of menstrual cramps, you're talking about a woman and the product touching one of the most sensitive areas of a female's body, and you do not have a lot of luxury in terms of the form factor. It has to fit in their innerwear, it has to go well with their sanitary pad. So it takes a different level of imagination and thinking for one to develop a product and solve the problem. And again, this is not something that we are the first company to make. People have done it in the Western world. It's a over-the-counter type of a product. Along with the sanitary pads, the women simply pick up these products and take them and use. Can anybody guess the total number of menstruating women in this country? Any guess? We can take a 15-20 second pause and see if somebody puts it in the chat box.
Maybe 35 crores.
35 crores, yeah. That is still on a lower side. So with the kind of population that we have, it could be by 2030, some statistics says we could have 55 to 60 crore menstruating women on any given day. Now imagine but then none of us really know such problem exists. And imagine, out of the 30 crore, even if there are 1-2 crore people who are suffering, the volume of problem that is a burden on the nation, and the volume of problem that is hurting the careers of these individual women. So the problem's gravity is extremely high. However, the solutions that we have, I think in one of the conversations I told in my close circle, there are more fashion brands for the women to wear, but hardly anybody who could solve this problem. So I think such problems require innovative solutions and ability to help these women generate confidence in them that they can go about their work, empathetically solve these problems. So that is what we have been able to do. Again, as you could imagine, using the oxidation reaction and controlling the temperatures, the three grand problems that we started to pursue in terms of providing warmth to the soldiers in high altitudes, to providing warmth to the newborn babies to prevent hypothermia and death in some cases, and also to provide comfort to women who suffer with this thing, and also potentially other men also of different ages for their muscle cramps, and all products could be developed, which we are not right now commercializing. I have seen another hand raised. Could we address their concern, please?
Please unmute and ask the question, please.
Dr. Raju, I think I've seen the name. Sir, somebody has raised the hand. Kindly ask the question.
Maybe by mistake, sir. Please.
Could be. Yeah. So I'd like to, I'm definitely at a logical pause point here. Kindly think through these applications, the heating technology that we're talking about. We're able to solve these problems. If you have any technical questions or, more of driven by curiosity, we can take a minute and answer those. Please go ahead and think through and ask any questions if you have, or you can pass your comments if you have something that you'd like to share.
Yeah.
Satya, maybe I had this question since I heard about your product.
Yeah, please.
How do you functionally test this?
Fantastic. So in terms of the Army, the functionality testing is done by us. So the way we have done it is, I'm glad I was waiting for somebody to ask this question. So when we initially developed this question, this product, It was, we have tested it at our lab, and the minimum the lab temperature can go to with the air conditioner is 16 degrees centigrade. But then the use case is in a completely different scenario. So what we tried to find if there are labs who can do low temperature testing and all. We could hardly do that. So what we have done, my team has done at the time, is, if you guys know, in Hyderabad, there is something called a Snow World. The Snow World is a theme park where they maintain the temperature at -5 degrees centigrade. So we actually have taken permission from them, went into Snow World and tested at -5. And to our satisfaction, the product performed very well. And then from there, we bought, our flight tickets to go to a place called Khardungla, which is one of the largest, tallest motorable pass, I think 18,000 plus feet, where the temperatures were close to -17 to -18 degrees centigrade. We have been there and tested. We have gone to real scenarios. So for these kinds of products, the real scenario is you go and test. For the hand warmer and other applications, I personally travel to high altitude regions and check the performance. And we do some laboratory testing, but the real world use is real world use. That's where we have taken help from people like Mountaineer, Tukaram and others. So where people have gone to the real scenario and tested the product. And the second level, when it comes to newborn baby, we had to be more innovative. We have developed certain, dummies which are, similar to the human body, and then simulated those conditions, developing some, weight that is simulating the baby's body weight, and done the testing in the lab. Very high level precision testing has been done. Before the first baby was supported, we have tested close to 100 different, scenarios, and then, got our comfort key. The product offers 37 plus or minus 1. And when it comes to the pain relief segment, I am the guinea pig for my company. So I have personally wore it on my body and tested the temperature in the lower abdominal regions. When I realized that I am not burning my skin, it was actually some of my friends and family who have taken this product and used, gave a feedback, and eventually we have developed the product. In fact, if you go to the next slide, we have gone to a number of different schools around Hyderabad. These are called Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalayas, and we have been there, and around 200 plus adolescent girls I have interacted with. And it so happens that I'm the first male who ever talked about menstruation to these girls. And, many of them complain of pain, they suffer, they've used this, prototypes that we have developed. And they have also given us inputs on how to improve the product and how comfortable they are. So that is how the testing at different levels has been done, Sri.
Yeah, maybe one more question.
Please.
Do you take any permissions or ROHS certifications?
Definitely. So these are basically there is an organization called the CDSCO, Central Drugs Standards Control Organization, which needs to give clearance for all our products. Generally, these are benched, as I said, over-the-counter products which do not require any approval. But we wanted to make sure we are doing the right thing and setting the right precedent. So we initially had, even before the first product went into the market, we have got the clearance from CDSCO. At that time, in the 4 years ago, these products were not controlled products. Today, these are all considered under medical devices. So we now have a regulatory approval and manufacturing license from Central Drug Standard Control Institute, Control Organization, CDSCO they call it. So yes, we have regulatory approvals for making these products.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions, queries, comments?
Hello, sir.
Yes, please, Ramakrishna.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, just I couldn't find how the particular pains can be relieved for the women if your product can be used.
Very, very good question. So basically, sir, if you could mute, it will be better. So if basically the question there, if for the other colleagues who have joined this FDP, Dr. Ramakrishna's question is that how does this particular product or heating technology relieve menstrual cramps? Sir, basically one of the primary reasons why the menstrual cramps happen in women is that due to the constriction that happens on the muscular region around their uterus region, whatever is happening in the system, that additional mass that is generating, there will be a muscle compression. That muscle compression also compresses the vascular flow. So by providing the warmth, what is called vasodilation, that's expansion that happens, just is a little bit more temperature. We don't burn their skin there. The average temperature that we provide is around 42, 43, 44 degrees centigrade. So effectively, there will be vasodilation, which results in that muscle relaxation happens. And this is the only way that, you will see if you go online, people talk about neurostimulators, some magnets, and giving electric pulses and so many things. And also some counter irritants similar to the Jendu balm that we apply. But they are all not real solutions, honestly. They divert the brain. But the real solution is, as somebody calls it, a grandma level solution. Traditionally, people have put hot water bottles or, cloth with warm cloth in the lower abdominal region. Precisely what they were doing is providing comfortably their warmth there, thereby locally expanding. But then, given the way the lifestyles are changing, what we have done is the same warmth that the grandmother or the person themselves have got through a hot warm cloth. We're able to give small packets that are discreet. Nobody needs to know that you have pain and you are using a solution. These products do not have any odor associated with them. So the privacy of the user is also taken care.
Thank you very much, sir. Great.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, queries? I see a question there. They're talking about these products could be used to control the temperature while transporting in the long distances. Sir, in principle, yes, but it does not work when it comes to the cost consideration. So people, there is a little distance that we have to travel where it becomes more economic for us to support the transportation of the goods or keeping the mobiles cold. That application is a little away. Any other questions? Was that hand raised by mistake?
Sir, how about the mobile phone, especially in India? The temperature in the summer is going to be so high. So if we got a small pack beneath the mobile phone, so it can keep it cool. Yeah.
As I said, in principle, yes. But then I think it become, if I want you to pay 100 rupees to keep your mobile at the low temperature every day, you will not do that. So that's where I'm saying it takes a little longer for us to develop a solution which is economically viable. That is more important thing when we do this.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions, queries? Okay, then we can move on to next slide. So as you could see, we had the privilege of meeting a number of different dignitaries within the Indian Army and Navy. They are all very proud. One thing that I can tell you, unlike whatever we hear or see in the movies and in the news, the Indian government officials are extremely positively pro-innovation. They are looking for solutions. They are finding ways to support us to take things forward, commercialize these innovations. I cannot appreciate enough the level of support that we got from the system. And this is unlike conventional wisdom where we say that, government rarely supports and corruption, AO and all that stuff. One thing I can stand here and tell you that the system is so welcoming. They are extremely eagerly looking for us as scientists and engineers to develop solutions for all the senior officials. Another unique point is they are looking up to us so that their younger generations do not go through the same hardships that they have gone through. So they know the problem. So when somebody like you and me go to them with a solution, they are jumping at it, helping us to tune the solution so that their younger generation of officers will be given a more comfort and more encouragement to pursue what they're doing. So that has been our experience. Next, please. And we're very, glad that system at different levels has taken cognizance of one of our co-founders, Dr. Ajay Karakoti. He was at Ahmedabad University when this happened. He was given with National Academy of Sciences Young Innovator Award, primarily for his contribution in developing innovations which are, commercially viable. There are other global organizations which have recognized the work in NeoWarm and other work that they've been doing. Next slide, please. It is again another award after we also have a patent, as I said, in our heating technology. This is something that makes us more responsible in making sure that these solutions that we develop and the innovations that our team has developed reach as many individuals as we could, so that more and more people will benefit from the innovations that we have done. And precise reason for showing these awards here is that when right things happen, system is coming around and also acknowledging the work that is being done. So it is, I encourage you all to please look into the aspects of innovation that you could focus on and that can potentially solve the problems of the world. And I think, as you would have seen, the technology that we are using again at different levels. See, I think if you look at it, what we will try to see is a simple exothermic reaction or endothermic reaction that we might have studied. Now, when I said what my team has done, and 100% credit to them, is that using those chemistry and physics reactions and taking them into applications with tangible output. So when these soldiers feel, there's somebody whom I met, he said, all of a sudden this officer walks up to me and says, "Sir, your hand warmer, aapka hand warmer haath mein hai." So we're able to pull a trigger. For those who are not able to understand Hindi, this officer walked up to me and said, it is because of the hand warmers that we are able to confidently pull a trigger when needed in our hands. So we are able to keep their hands warm in those kinds of temperature scenarios. So it's very important for us as academicians and researchers to look for problems for which what we already know can provide a solution. And that is something very, very critical for us to progress as a nation. Next, please. And I think I have a little bit more time. I was hoping it to be more interactive, but given that the attendees prefer listening to than asking questions, I can probably take another 10-12 minutes and show something unique that my team has done during COVID, if I have the organizer's permission.
Yeah. Yes, please, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So when we were doing these innovative solutions and moving forward at a significant pace in commercializing our technologies, like everybody else, COVID, started taking a toll on what we are doing. And, whatever we have planned for was not working because nobody can go out. During this time, we had some conversations with one Dr. Anup Rao, who is a neonatologist at the Sanford Hospital. And he has been mentoring us because of our newborn product. So one fine day, he calls me and we were talking, and then he says, at Stanford itself, we are suffering for the masks, and it might be very, very tricky in India. Is there something we can do? And my team at that time told, we have been running around for 4 years and hardly any break. We thought it is temporary, and then a couple of weeks we can spend time at home with family and kids and maybe, complete the patents that we wanted to write. That was the thought process. So we said, we really don't want to get into any of these right now because that's not our expertise as well. And he said, yeah, I understand, Satya, it's okay. And then a couple of days down the line, we get a call again. And he said, its problem is becoming very severe. Really, consider, it's important for India and all that stuff, then it kind of triggered a question in our mind. We say we are a startup which is solving India's problems, and seemingly we as a country and the world are getting into a most critical problem of our time. And if we do not see what we can do, then what is the point of calling ourselves as problem solvers on our LinkedIn profiles? That was the question we asked ourselves. And now we don't know anything. Just because you feel like doing, you cannot do scientific intervention, right? So we started reading, and then wanted to do what it is and try to understand the behavior, what is required for a mask and everything. Next slide, please. We have nothing to test, we have nothing to do. So then we realized that some of the raw materials that we are using for our products, what is required for a mask, right? It should not allow solids and liquids to pass through, but then it should allow air to pass through the filtration of the mask that we are using. And then we understood, because of the news, their droplets are there, they should not be passed and all that stuff. What we tried to do, burnt a candle and then see if the materials that we have will allow the smoke to pass through or not. And then my kids had some cold at home in the past. So they were given the nebulization. And then we used the nebulizer to test. And in the middle of the COVID lockdown, the ones in the image on the third one on the right is Dr. Manikantan. He is a critical care expert. Many of his colleagues at that time were suffering without having access to the masks. So he drove me all the way to Coimbatore in the middle of the lockdown to get our mask tested. So what I would like to draw your attention is, problem may be however grave it is, challenge or opportunity may be however big it is always important for us as innovators to focus on, we know what we are doing. There are some level of a testing standards and regulatory aspects that we must pay attention to whenever we are trying to do an innovation. That is what we tried to do despite the hardship. And again, I should say, even during this time, we had fantastic support from the Cyberabad police. The commissionerate has given us permissions to travel to Coimbatore, get our product tested, go to Pune, get some machines made. We received fantastic systems that we were able to do. There is a question flag raised from Dharamveer Dikshit ji. Yes, sir, go ahead. Dharamveer ji, please unmute and speak. Or maybe it was also by accident. Okay, so maybe he'll come back with the question. So what we tried to do is to test something. Go ahead, next slide, please. So this is a general, perception of masks. I think most of you know. So these N95 masks are very comfortable. They cannot be reused. There are challenges. And people were washing these masks and those fibers they were breathing. We wanted to really find a solution for such a thing, where we thought a filter which can be washed and whose fibers do not get into the people is what we should be doing, was the thought process. That's how we started developing our prototypes. Next slide, please. And what is the real thing, right? One of the things why people wanted to wear the mask at that time is they should be able to wear long and they should be able to wear it properly. When will you do things long and proper? Whenever we are feeling comfortable with the product, that's when only we will use for long and properly. So that was the intent in making a product, where we had a fantastic support from these entities within India and abroad. And we were able to develop a product with the help of women from self-help groups. That's why the product is also trademarked. As you will see, there is a COVID, there's a lockdown, but my team's focus on generating and creating intellectual property was not compromised. Despite all those challenges, we filed for a trademark for the product that we have developed. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So what is the outcome of this thing is, when everything was locked down, people were not able to work. My team was able to work, had to work even during the weekends. And they have trained close to 500 women across this country in all the states that you see in the pink color here. Around 500 women were trained, and they have all been provided approximately 200,000 hours of paid employment. Out of that, around 85% of the work went to women in these 16 states. So all these women very proudly have taken the chance, took the risk of coming to their centers, made the masks, and they have delivered close to 7 lakh masks across the country. These masks, India, not only in India, but have traveled across the continents to somewhere in Middle East, to the US, and also to Switzerland, Australia. Some people have used taking these masks from here. Many people purchased them and donated during the vaccine drives. So it was something that which has taught us a fantastic lesson. When there is a problem, and if you are able to work, most of these women, if you see, they never have known what is a computer. They have not known what is a Zoom call. Many of them are not using smartphones, but all of them were able to get on a Zoom call, get the training done by my colleague sitting in Hyderabad. And it was a fantastic journey. I could not meet them during COVID, but some of them I met post-COVID. And you'll have to see the level of commitment that they have, the kind of resilience that they have shown. So these challenges that was posed by COVID really did not deter them from doing what they wanted to do. So when we as scientists and innovators come up with products, the society also will work along with us and support us and enable us. With the confidence that we have got today in our plant, out of the 60 people, we are a team. Close to 45, 48 are women team members from the local communities. They make majority of these heat packs and cold packs and support the Army, Navy, and even make the products for exporting. So it has been a very, very humbling and learning journey for the founding team. These innovations are at one level. Making them and scaling them up and reaching the corners where the application is at a different level. So I once again urge you through this FDP, as faculty scientists, you're all extremely smart and intelligent. I know based on the institution or the resources that you have, there may be challenges, but I think the fun of innovating in a challenging scenario is never available when you innovate in a fully funded scenario. So I urge you to please, consider, and encourage your younger students and colleagues to really focus on identifying the problems that they want to solve. I think once we focus on a problem, a human mind also starts probing and thinking how to solve that problem. So I urge you all once again to please focus on seeing how you could potentially solve the problems in India. If you're able to solve the problem in India, I'm sure many other developing low middle income countries will be able to take up the solution and address the needs in their countries as well. Next slide, please. Next slide. So at the end, what I wanted to draw your attention is that whether we will use the entire Make in India or the innovations that we have in our minds to do something to solve a problem like some of these innovations have done, or focus on developing and an attitude where we want to go attack somebody and kill. Defense is extremely, extremely important, but also we should avoid the destruction part. So how do we use as human beings the innovations that we do, whether to improve the lives or whether to create destruction, is to a certain extent a choice in the hands of the innovators at different levels. And with that, I thank you all for taking time beyond your core working hours and spending time with me and giving me an opportunity to talk about the last 7 years of journey that I've been able to share with you. Thank you, Professor Srihari and the team at ITAM. And I'm still open before your next talk. If you want to spend a couple of more minutes for any questions, clarifications, I'll be very happy.
Thank you. All participants, it is open for questions. The session is open for questions. You can raise your hand, unmute yourself and ask the questions, please. Sir, by the way, I have one question from COVID-19 slide.
Please.
This one, actually, this picture I'm very curious about, maybe which is insignificant. What is this picture, sir? I mean, which some two cloths or what?
So that is a background image on a news article that I have downloaded. I'll be very happy to share the source of it to go dig deep.
Okay, I thought some significance. I thought
not. My attention was to draw that many people have lost their lives, and the criticality. And it's basically the crucifixion slide is what I've looked at it. But then I think more of fundamental understanding I do not necessarily have.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
And one more last question from my side, sir.
Please.
Since you have mentioned the technology 2, which is cooling, which is on which I was working actually during my PhD and all. So
okay.
Therefore, in technology 1, you have mentioned the moisture recording, and when it comes to the cooling, that is technology 2, there is no moisture mentioned. I mean, I'm curious to know which is not dealing with moisture content and all. What technology?
Yeah, it's a dry cooling technology. It does not have any wetness associated with it. It's a dry cooling technology.
Okay, fine, sir.
And if it so happens you are in Hyderabad or we meet anywhere, I'll be very happy to demonstrate the product. And Professor Srihari has seen the product. Maybe he can talk more offline to you.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else, please ask the question.
Sir, please.
Sir, really, I realized myself regarding the knowing new things here, sir, from you. But I expected more, sir, from you, like this products, what actually you did in your progress. If you have any other products, sir, what I am asking.
These are the products. We have close to around 12-13 different variants of products for maternal health and post-surgery prevention of hypothermia. If you can kindly spend some time on our website, parishodhana.com, you will know more. I have restricted it for certain applications given the time and the sanctity of the presentation that I am supposed to make. I also wanted to make sure we have a 5-6 minute break between the two talks. I think
we really fortunate, sir, to hear this type of innovative things from you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure is mine.
Questions from many others?
Questions, please.
Yeah.
Santosh, maybe you can close sharing the screen.
Yeah. Well, I think we understand that it's the session can be closed. Yeah. So thank you, sir. I'm closing with a brief summary. So Dr. Satyanarayana Garu delivered an insightful session at the ATAL Faculty Development Program on innovative heating technologies, especially for cold conditions, addressing critical applications such as thermal solutions for soldiers in extreme cold, challenges faced by soldiers operating in harsh winter environments, development of wearable and portable heating technologies to enhance endurance and safety, use of phase change materials, thermoelectric generators, and for sustained warmth, And the second one he focused, that is warmth solutions for newborn babies, which are actually risks of hypothermia in premature and low birth weight infants, design of cost-effective neonatal warming systems, including infrared-based warming, heated mattresses, and skin contact technologies. So, and the third important one is addressing menstrual discomfort with heating technologies, that is development of wearable heating pads to alleviate menstrual cramps, a role of graphene-based heating textiles and smart fabrics in providing targeted pain relief, and advancements in self-regulated heating devices for comfort and convenience. So the conclusion is Dr. Sachinarayan Garu's session emphasized the importance of sustainable, energy efficient and user-friendly heating solutions across diverse applications. His insights provided valuable direction for research, innovation, and practical implementation in healthcare, defense, and personal wellness sectors. So thank you so much for your valuable time, sir, and sharing your immense knowledge to our participants and other fellows. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Satya, maybe if possible, can you please share your email ID in the chat box?
I'll do that.
Because a lot of the participants would be interested in getting in touch with you, especially like my colleagues. I know, like they are doing some good research.
Sure.
Yeah, thanks for your email. Yeah.
Sir, my personal appreciations to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
In fact, I know what kind of steps you have taken. You took a very bold step, leaving that company in US and coming back to India, and going through a lot of struggles and hurdles. And I'm very happy that you have accepted my invitation to share your knowledge and expertise. Thanks a lot, Satya.
Thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you.
My dear participants, I'm sharing the Google form link to share your feedback regarding this session. So please do, please. So the next session will be starting around 19:30, that is 7:30 p.m.
Maybe we'll pause for 10 minutes and start.
Yeah. We'll have a break of 10 minutes.
Participants can stay connected, but you can take a break. Please stay connected.